Hi, everyone. Thanks for your patience while I was away overseas in Ghana. I really appreciate everything. Y'all are working hard, and sorry for the glitches in the quiz grading system. I'm working on figuring all that stuff out right now as I got back. So yeah, thanks for your patience on all that stuff, and appreciate all your hard work while I was away. I was monitoring class. I've graded all the quizzes except for maybe some of the few late entries, but for the most part, have graded your participation in your forums. I haven't graded the quizzes yet, and regraded them because I'm waiting to fix the glitch. So I wanted to send a video to let you know about your upcoming exam week. I'm sure there's some anxiousness about that, and this is one of the few classes that maybe you have an exam in during your seminary career. Part of the idea of the exam is just to, again, kind of go over once again some of the content that we've covered in the first half of the class, because the second half of the class will move fairly rapidly as we begin to try to apply some of these peacemaking principles along with reading some different books. So, yeah, let me just get to the exam. Basically, what's going to happen, let me give you an idea of what's going to happen. On tonight, I'm going to post your groups. I will post a list of everybody in your group and their email addresses. And what I suggest that you do is that you contact one another and just organize kind of schedules, all those kinds of things of when would be the best time, your time that you can significantly contribute to studying for the exam as a group. You'll be graded on participation in this forum, so you can't just study for the exam by yourself, and uh, it will be advantageous for you to take advantage of your classmates as you study for the exam. What When you get the exam, which will be Saturday morning, or not the exam, sorry, the study guide for the exam, you will get what the exam will look like exactly. All the questions on the exam, exactly how they will be. There will be 10 questions, and I've decided to make it a little bit easier and say you will either answer 4 or 5 questions, not the range from 3 to 7. So you can plan about a 20 to 25-minute response. Let me think about that. No, sorry, about a 15-minute response for 4 questions. For 5 questions, it will be, somewhere a little bit longer than that. You plan for 60 minutes for the exam. And so you will get the exact questions. What I suggest that you do is divvy up the questions according to your interest and maybe your expertise in one of the areas, or just divvy them up as a group. And then you all will go and look at for the answers of the questions that you take. What I'm hoping is that you will then develop a forum or a document. If you make a Google Doc for this kind of thing, then just include me and invite me into the Google Doc so I can see your participation in the Google Doc. And what I hope that you will generate is there's 5 people in the group, there's 10 questions, you each take 2 questions, and you generate an answer, and then you will get 10 answers more quickly than if you were doing it by yourself. And then you can read each other's answers, you can talk back and forth and try to decide which might be the best answer. And then over the course of the week, you can begin to get those answers into your own mind. And so you can depend on one another for the answers. And your answers may look exactly the same as another person's if you both straight up memorize the answers. That's okay as long as you're not cheating on the exam. And so that will be your participation from basically whatever Saturday morning. You don't have to start technically until Monday. I just want to give you a head start for those people that are worried about it. And then you should probably be wrapped up by Wednesday in having all the answers outlined and everything like that. And then you just make the answers your own, or you memorize the answers, whatever you might do. Then on Friday, at any moment before midnight, you can open the exam. Well, you have 1 hour, so give yourself a little bit of buffer. Don't open it at 11:01. You have 1 hour to do the exam. You basically open the exam, and then you begin to answer the questions. On the exam, I will tell you to answer 4 or 5 questions. I will say that these 3 questions are required. So you will have to right answers to the 3 questions that I require. And then I'll say 1 or 2 of these questions, you can choose which one you would like to write on. So out of the remaining questions, you just choose 1 or 2 and you write on those questions. And so that's what the exam will be. And you will, it's no open notes, no open book. The only thing that you will be able to use is a very clean Bible, because there's a good chance that I'll ask about the 14 triads of the Sermon on the Mount. And so you'll be able to use the Sermon on the Mount in your Bible as long as it's not written on. The 11th question on the exam that you have to answer is, have you cheated on this exam? Because obviously I'm giving you the exam beforehand. You could write out the answers. You can you could copy and paste them. That would be cheating. And so this is a seminary. You're studying to be Christian leaders. And so this is an honor exam. So the last question is, did you cheat on this exam? And if you answer yes to that question, then you will get a 0 on the exam. Unless you've made prior arrangements, then the exam is due by midnight on Friday, February 2nd. That's midnight Friday, February 2nd. So don't start your exam later than 11 o'clock at night, Pacific Standard Time. So, yeah, that's what the exam will look like. I've decided that I'll do office hours at 8:30 on Friday morning. That's 8:30 on Friday morning. And you can come in and ask any questions that you might want to ask on the exam if you'd like, or anything else in the course so far. So again, I'll do office hours at 8:30 a.m. on Friday morning, and then you will be off on studying for exam. And I'll monitor the forums and make sure you all are on the right track as you study for the exam. Okay, hopefully that's enough information to get you started. You look for a couple more lectures during this week. And then in my nicety, again, just because I'm in a good mood after being overseas for a few weeks, here's just a few hints of questions that might be on the exam. Probably a 14 triads question. Probably from Just and Unjust Wars, I would know the 8 principles of just war theory. And you can also look at that in Ethics for a Brave New World. I would know the difference between hard just war theory and soft war just theory. And I would know the difference between the 4 kinds of pacifisms in David Gushie's article. If you want, there probably will be an optional question about Dietrich Bonhoeffer, Dallas Willard, and Glenn Stasson's different interpretations of the Beatitudes on the Sermon on the Mount. There will probably be, let me think about this, something about Walter Wink's third way. Describe his third way and use biblical examples for that. So these are just some of the questions from your textbooks. And then probably, this is a peacemaking class, the 10 practices of peacemaking that Stasson outlines in his book, or that the Interfaith Just Peacemaking outlines in their book. It's the same 10 practices. So, those are just a few hints about maybe some of the questions that will be on the exam, just to give you an idea. Okay, look for a couple more lectures. I'll probably do a lecture on John Howard Yoder, because you all have had some questions about his history and the use of his textbooks in the class, which I think are really great, important questions to be asking. And so I'll probably do something about that this week, and then a couple of content lectures. Okay? Hope you've had a great week, and look forward to interacting with you either on Friday morning or sometime during the week. And remember, you can always text me and set up an office hour or a phone call at any point, and I'd be happy to do that. Hope you have a great week.